Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight, we're honored to be joined by the most canceled street interviewer, quite an accolade. You probably know him better as ShaneyyRicch, Shane Ginsburg. Shane, welcome to The Right View. I think your videos are amazing. For people who haven't seen all of your videos, we're going to give them a quick preview right now.
Trump or Biden?
Man, I gotta go with Trump.
Trump, let's go. Why?
Honestly, because he did more while he was in office than Biden is doing right now. You know,
Who did you vote for in 2020?
Joe Biden.
Biden? Why?
I thought it was better than Trump, but now I think gas is too high, inflation's high. I wish I would have voted for Trump. Trump 2024.
Trump or Biden?
You mean cruelty versus kindness?
Yeah.
There you go.
100% Trump. He is for sure for America. He has always fought for America. Trump 2024.
This is crazy, contradicting, but I'm picking Trump.
You're picking Trump?
Yes, I don't like Trump as a person, but I like his policies and the way he just conducts business.
So obviously, you have some really incredible man on the street interviews. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you kind of ended up doing these interviews, because I think people love seeing them.
Yeah, so I grew up in Santa Monica, very liberal. It was about 2016. I was in 6th grade, and Trump was running for president. I didn't know much about politics, but everyone supported Hillary, and I always loved controversy, so I just supported Trump. And I was ostracized, I remember. I didn't even know why I supported him, but I just loved how real he was. I loved him getting up there and telling everyone that they're fake news, and it was amazing. So I supported him. Went through that in LA, and then I think it was 2020 when COVID hit. Me and my dad, we relocated to Florida, and that's when I really started deep diving into politics. It was during the BLM riots and COVID. You know, we were called far-right conspiracy theorists for 2 years for saying it came from a lab in Wuhan. We were xenophobes. Yep. Now it's true, you know. I guess the conspiracy theorists are always true. So I was doing that, and then my friend, Cody, he has about 3 million followers on TikTok. And so he does interviews, but he does them like mostly casual. Like he'll ask like, would you date me? How much money is in your bank account? So it's not political at all. And I dropped out of school in 8th grade. So I've always, been business. Yeah. Something that a lot of people don't know. Yeah. So I've never
just say this. Hold on 1 second. Whenever you said 2016 and you were in 6th grade, I just like died a little bit inside. How are you, Shane?
I'm 18.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I want to say good for you for having the foresight in 6th grade to say, like, wait a minute, just because everybody else is telling me to do something and think this way, maybe that's not the only way to think. Maybe there's some other, ways to do it out there. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's pretty amazing. And why did you drop out of school at 8th grade?
The school system was never for me. I never really fit in. My dad is like super heavy into business. He's actually spoke with Trump back in 2012 before he was president. Oh. So I've always been in the business world. And so he pretty much took me under his wing. I was traveling with him, doing business seminars and conferences. And then, like I said, when COVID hit, we moved to Florida. The best decision ever, really the best decision ever.
Amen to that. I'm in Florida right now.
Yeah, no, Florida's amazing. So they have a great state, and we moved there, and then, my eyes really opened during the BLM riots, and I was seeing, my city, Los Angeles, getting destroyed and looted and buildings burned. And I just went down the rabbit hole of COVID, BLM, and I really started to think for myself and just not, read the headline and come to a conclusion and actually, look for evidence, right, and get facts. So that happened, and then, like I said, my friend Cody has about 4 million on TikTok. And he does lifestyle interviews. And I called him up one day, took a trip to LA, and he taught me how to do the interviews. And I thought to myself, I was thinking, okay, I could copy his lane. I could do these lifestyle questions, but I wanted to put my own twist, right? And something that I'm passionate about. And so I had always been passionate about politics from a young age. So then I just thought Trump or Biden. And that was a question I started with about, I want to say 10 months ago. I started on TikTok. Did that, and then it just started rolling from there. And then as I just learned more and more about politics, I was able to adapt my questions into, almost like a comedic style, right? So you can look at it as a Democrat or a Republican and have a laugh either way, which is why I think it's able to grasp so many people. Yeah. And I just go ask people, Trump or Biden, what would they tell Trump? What would they tell Joe Biden? It's really astonishing because, apparently, I don't know, can we talk about the election at all, or is that a little
please, let's talk about the election.
It's just very astonishing because, Biden supposedly got 81 million votes, but I want to say 90% of the people I talk to, Black, Mexican, any background, are for Trump. Right. So it's pretty outrageous to me. I've been going on the street for a year, probably met 5,000 or 10,000 people, not even joking. And I want to say 90% are for Trump. So it's
so Shane, you don't think that 81 million people were so inspired by Joe Biden campaigning out of a basement with his little hula hoops at his couple of events he had, that they all went out and voted for him? Well, of course not. I mean, it's outrageous to think that Joe Biden was the most popular president in American history, yet that's what the numbers tell us. I was going to ask you about that. So you just kind of go up to people, you're there with your camera, or I guess you have somebody with you usually, right? You're there and you just, anybody walking by, you stop them, and 90% of them are Trump over Biden?
Yeah, no joke. I mean, basically what I do, I never tell them the question before. So a lot of people ask me, hey, can you tell me the question? But for, I call myself almost a street poller, right? And so for a poll, you need it to be a natural reaction. I can't give them any time to think. So I don't tell them the question. Yeah, I don't tell them the question. They come hop in an interview, and off the dome, I just, give them a question. And yeah, it's astonishing. I mean, you can look at my most recent videos. There's a few Biden supporters, but it's funny because whenever I ask Trump or Biden and the answer is Biden, it's always the same response. Trump's a racist, right? It's always the same. And so I ask him, can you give me one example, right? Because if Trump is so racist, you must have at least one example of something said that's extreme. Oh, no, I have no examples. I just know he's racist, right? So you can see that.
I was just told he was racist. The news says he's racist. Hollywood says he's racist. So it must be true, of course. But it's very smart the way you do it, though. I really love how the second, you're right, first of all, you can't give them the question ahead of time, because then they have a moment to think, and then they'll evaluate the whole situation. And you want a knee-jerk reaction from people, because that's real. I mean, what do you make of the polls that we get out there, though? Because, you basically do an impromptu street poll, and your polling would suggest that the majority of people out there, just average people, support Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Yet the polls that we see on television and, in our news every day maybe paint a slightly different picture for us. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, it baffles me, because I even think back to 2020, scrolling through Instagram and seeing 30,000 people watching Trump at his rallies, and seeing 6 people with a mask in a parking lot watching
in the hula hoops with Joe Biden. Yeah.
It's honestly embarrassing what's happened to America. I'm a young person, so I haven't really experienced it any other way, but just seeing how I've heard about America 15, 20 years ago and what it's turned into now, that's why I respect Trump. Because honestly, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a Trump supporter, because he came in from outside of politics. Right. I hate politicians. I don't support really Ron DeSantis. I love what he's doing in Florida, but I mean, even I go out and ask people Trump or DeSantis, I've never got a DeSantis. It's always Trump.
No, really?
Yeah. Wow, even in Florida, it's always Trump. I was going to say,
so if this is in Florida, this is interesting. There was on Fox News the other morning, they had a Breakfast with Friends episode. And so they're at a local diner, and Brian Kilmeade, the host, is there kind of doing what you do. And he asks everybody who's excited about the 2024 election. And all these people are, yeah, we're excited. First thing in the morning, these are people out having their breakfast, getting some coffee. And he goes around person by person and asks, who do you want to see as the president in 24? He couldn't get anyone to say anything other than Trump. And there was a lady, he went over a lady with a DeSantis shirt. Mind you, this is in Florida. A lady with a DeSantis shirt, and she goes, well, I like them both. I don't know. Here's my take on it. As a Floridian, as a person who votes here in the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis has just been reelected as our governor for another 4 years. I think a lot of people in Florida probably feel the way I do, which is we want Ron DeSantis to complete his term as governor of Florida. You get 2 terms in the state of Florida, 4 years each. At the end of that 4-year term, man, you go out and run for president and you do your thing. But until then, We need somebody in there who's going to fix it, who's done it before. And I think a lot of people harken back not too long ago to the days when Donald Trump was in office and things felt much different in our country. But I don't get the polls either. And I have always said that they don't fully reflect the way people feel because they're very weighted in certain ways. I think it depends who's asking. I think it depends how they ask. And I like about what you do that you just go up. They don't know who you are, I assume most of the time, or what your stance is on it. You just say Trump or Biden. I mean, that's probably the best way to do it, right?
Well, and that's what's great is I feel like as a creator, I'm very good at not portraying myself on either side.
Right.
Clearly, I'm not clearly, but obviously I'm for Trump. Like, there's no question. Trump 2024, like, that's what's going to happen. And I'll make sure that happens to the best of my ability.
Love that.
Yeah. At the same time, I don't let the people who I'm interviewing know that, right? So that's what's so good is I don't tell them anything. It's just, hey, would you hop in an interview? I sometimes tell them it's for my documentary. You know, if they're not just like, hey, would you come hop in my documentary? You know?
Could have a great documentary down the line, like 10, 15 years from now to look back on this time. Because, man, it's pretty interesting, Shane. You picked a very unique time in American political history to get involved in politics. And you're young, you're 18. But we've really never seen anything like what we have with Donald Trump. I don't know if we ever will again. But it is an interesting time. I have to ask you this, though. So you dropped out of school in 8th grade, but it's been fairly recent that you were in school. What do you make of what's happening in schools right now? Did you get the sense as you were there sitting in a classroom that you were being, I mean, I hate to use the word indoctrinated, but to an extent indoctrinated? Did you feel like the things that we all saw as parents when our kids were doing like remote learning, did you feel that happen to you and see it happen to your classmates?
So the earliest memory I have of a political interaction was in 2016, like I said, 6th grade. I remember it. Middle school in Santa Monica. I took a green highlighter and I wrote Trump on my arms in a green highlighter just because I loved controversy. And I always loved, you know, having my own opinion and being controversial. So I wrote Trump on my arms, in a green highlighter. And I remember the teacher sent me down to the principal. They said I could never do it again, made me wash it off my hands. I guarantee you if I wrote Hillary, it would have been fine. Not a question. But yeah, every teacher I've had is a liberal, especially in Santa Monica. I want to say 20 to 30% of the students were believing that they're, you know, LGBTQ, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. And so I never really experienced like the pride flags or any of that stuff. But my little sister started high school about a year ago. She's in 10th grade now. She's telling me that, you know, she's in high school in Santa Monica and she's seeing pride flags everywhere. I have a lot of friends still in high school in Florida and Miami, and there's pride flags. They do LGBTQ marches. It's very crazy, the indoctrination in the school system, because kids are so impressionable, right? And so I never had a Republican teacher. Like, I can't remember ever having a Republican teacher. It's always been liberals. So the school system is where it starts, right? What they want you to do is they want you to go through school. They want you to go to college. They want you to get in debt. They want you to work till you're 60 and then end up on Medicare and Social Security. That's what they want. They want you to be a part of the matrix and be involved in that. And so I realized that because just based on my dad being in business, I realized from a young age that I was not meant for that and I was meant to do something on my own. It's sad though, because I have a lot of friends now. One of my closest friends growing up is now transgender. And I know like he was not like that as a kid. Like it's wild what's going on. Yeah.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, I was, I kind of questioned why'd you drop out of school in 8th grade? Because I mean, my take on it, just as a mom of 2 kids, my kids are super young, but is like, at least get a degree, finish it out. But I gotta say, you are very smart, Shane. You obviously are a very well-educated individual, and perhaps you're right. Perhaps staying the course in school wasn't the right move for you. I mean, time will ultimately tell. Seems like you're doing all right now. I have to say, though, like, I don't mind necessarily a pride flag or whatever it is. That's not the issue. The issue is what you just said about your friend who you've known for a long time. My assumption is that this space that is opened up for kids who really don't fit in anywhere or don't know, have a lot of friends, don't know what to say to people, don't know how to break the ice. If you kind of come out and say, well, I think I might be transgender, then you're applauded within the school system, right? You are championed in a way. And I mean, do you stay in touch with your friend? Is this a long-term thing, you think? Do you think it's a phase? Like, what do you make of it?
So what I really think it comes down to is, yes, it comes down to the school system. Yes, but it also comes down to social media apps as well. Because when kids are scrolling on TikTok all day and all they're seeing on their feed is transgender pride. And again, like if an adult wants to be, I believe that if you're over 18,
great, do it. Whatever makes you happy.
But I just don't support, pushing that onto the children. So it's almost like nowadays, it's almost like it's a protected asset class. And it's like they want you to forget your identity. They want you to believe that you're something that you're not, which is almost like a mind control tactic, which is very scary, in my opinion, right? So, yeah, like I said, my friend now trans, I haven't reached out to him. He still follows me, sees all my videos. I'm sure he thinks I'm a bigot and a racist. I've had a lot of people, though, hit and unfollow me and message me that I'm racist. One of my basketball coaches growing up messaged me I'm a racist. I said, how can I be like you're my basketball coach for 6 years. We hung out 3 times a week. We played basketball, went to NBA games together. It's wild that some people really still believe that associating with Trump is associating with white supremacy and racism. Like, I just don't understand that. And so I think the school systems play a part, like I said, because kids are so impressionable. I mean, even I remember being young, I was for sure impressionable. And so if someone kept shoving in my face all day, hey, you might be gay or you might be, thinking this way, then yeah, I might believe it as a kid. It's very impressionable. So like I said, if you're an adult and you do whatever you want, I personally, if you're an adult and want to go get gender reassignment surgery, go ahead. You're over 18, do whatever you want. It just don't push it on to the children. And so, yeah, I mean, all the schools now are pushing it on to the children, and DeSantis is doing a good job in Florida trying to ban it, but it's still happening in Florida. Like I said, I have friends in high school in Miami, and they're telling me all the time that they're getting taught about LGBT. Like, when they're doing sex education now, they're teaching them about LGBTQ and like gay sex and stuff like that. Like, I remember when I got taught sex education in 6th grade, it was like between a man and a woman. Now they want to open it up to everything. It's like, yo, as an adult, you do what you want, but I don't believe that those ideologies should be pushed onto the children.
Well, when was it ever? First of all, you talked about never having had a Republican teacher. No one should know the political leanings of your teachers. I mean, nor should you know what your teacher does when they leave school, whether they're married to a man, a woman, whatever it is. It doesn't matter whether they're married at all, quite frankly, other than, how you write the woman's name, perhaps. But that's, I think, a bit of the problem is, and maybe it's an element of social media because we all feel like we know more about one another. We can stay a little more connected. But where you could leave school back in the day, back when, I was in middle school and I was in 6th grade, you go home and that's your time away and you don't know what your teacher does. It was kind of like an anomaly. If you saw your teacher out like at, Walmart or the grocery store or something, that was like a big deal. Like, oh my God, I saw Miss Jackson at the grocery store with my mom. Like, it was so crazy. Now they probably all have social media accounts. Now it's like, there's just so much intermingling of stuff, and maybe that's where the lines got crossed. But you should never know how your teacher votes. You should never know, what their sexual orientation is, as far as I'm concerned, because none of it has any bearing on teaching kids. That's not what we should be doing. But alas, we know where we are. Just to get back to your interviews for a minute, because obviously these have been very successful, and I think you've probably learned quite a bit. What do you think politicians don't understand, or something maybe that they're missing about everyday Americans that perhaps you have learned in some of your interactions with people out on the street?
Great question. I'll start with the Democrat Party. So the thing about the Democrat Party is, like I said, anyone who supports a Democrat has no idea why. Yeah, right?
Most of them.
They don't understand why. They're just told to support them. And so they can't name any policies. They can't name anything to do. Now, on the Republican side, like I said, I don't like most of the Republicans in office. I don't like them. I think that they're all corrupt. I think that, like I said, in 2016, the Republicans didn't want Trump to get the nominee. Fox News now is trying to distance themselves from Trump. And I saw that, they let go of you as well when Trump announced he was running. So it's sketchy what's going on. And Mitch McConnell sitting up there and saying saying that Ukraine is our #1 priority and wearing a Ukraine flag at the State of the Union address. Like, what is that? Like, you are supposed to be representing Americans in the Senate, and you're going to be out here just shoveling billions of dollars to Ukraine. We could be spending that money in America. We could have given that to the residents of East Palestine, Ohio. Instead, we have Trump going out and bringing out water bottles and getting them McDonald's. You never hear anything from Biden. He says, oh, I might have spoken to 2 governors and 2 mayors, and fall asleep mid-interview. You know, it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
It is. It's really sad, actually, and it is embarrassing because whether or not you voted for Joe Biden, whether or not you like anything he does or stands for, he represents every American as the president of the United States. And so I agree with you. There has to be, you have to at least have slight respect for the office. But man, he makes it tough.
Yeah, and the sad thing is it's not him. Like in my honest opinion, it's not. That's the saddest part. It's really elder abuse. I mean, you look at him up there and he can't coherently speak a sentence, and you think he's the one making the decisions of what's going on. Like, definitely not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But what do you think it is? What advice maybe, or what information would you give to the political class out there? Or, I mean, heck, even to my father-in-law as he's running for president again, that you've learned from people? Is there anything that kind of has surprised you to hear from people? I guess other than, the 90% or so of people that you talk to who are pro-Trump that maybe you wouldn't suspect.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would tell Trump, from what I've heard in the conservative movement from speaking with other people in the movement, is they really want him to go back to that 2016 aggressiveness. That's what a lot of people want. My honest opinion, I think he's doing, like, I've seen all the videos he's been rolling out about what he's going to do with the digital Bill of Rights and, the genders, and making sure that children aren't, getting
mutilated.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think what he's doing is great. I also think, though, this is my honest, I love Truth Social. I'm wearing the hat right now. I absolutely love it. What he should do, in my honest opinion, is he should hop on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and basically make a post and say, you can find me on Truth Social, the best app.
That's a good idea.
I think that, there's some little things he can do. But I honestly, like, I see zero, because I'm thinking that it's going to be between DeSantis and Trump for the, Republican primary. Like I said, like you said, we elected DeSantis for 4 years in Florida. We didn't elect him for 2 years to then drop out and run for president. So it's almost like DeSantis used the governor to get a huge win, right? He won by over 60%, used that to almost manipulate people into momentum and now run for president. But I can guarantee you that if there's a Republican primary, Trump will win. The conservative base will go for Trump. Like, there is no shot DeSantis wins, so I'm really not worried. I think what we really need to do is just focus on social media. That's really where the Democrats have us beat.
It's so true.
They control all of Hollywood. They control musicians, all the rap. Like, Democrats run social media. And so what we do as conservatives, the issue is, like, we can't push the line, because I've been banned on YouTube. I've been banned 8 times on TikTok.
Yeah, so I got to ask you about that. Well, finish your thought, and I want to ask you about that. Go ahead.
We have to convey a message. Here's the thing, is we have to convey a message where if a liberal is watching the video, they will second guess their thoughts. And that's what I like to do. Is like, all right, so I'm going to ask you Trump or Biden. You're going to say Biden. Or you're going to say Biden. I'm going to say why. You're going to say because Trump's racist. I'm going to tell you, give me one example, and you can't say anything. So I feel like a Democrat watching that video, wow, maybe there isn't anything I can think of Trump being racist. And so that's what we need to do, is we really need to utilize the power of social media, because that's the future, and that's what all the kids are on. If we want to win America, we need to get the young voters, right? And they're all on social media. It's so true.
Yeah. I mean, they've been, directed so strategically towards the Democrat Party. They think that that's their voting block. People your age, you're going to be able to vote as an 18-year-old now, and obviously in 24, I guess you'll be 19 or 20. You're going to be able to vote in this next election. I'm sure that's pretty exciting for somebody who's been, very interested in politics for so long. But I think you're right. I think that we've missed the mark, as at least the Republican Party has, in so many ways, because they've been using the old playbook, and the old playbook doesn't work anymore, because we're in a new time and we're in a new era. And it just so happens that all of the big movers for people, like social media, the Democrats have their hands in and they have control over. Why? Your channel was permanently banned from YouTube, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. So
what happened? Like, why did they say you were permanently banned?
So I started TikTok, got banned a lot, and then one of my boys called me and recommended I try YouTube. So in about 2 months, I got about 180,000 subscribers, 350 million video views, all on shorts. And they banned me for hate speech. So one of my main questions was just how many genders are there? And they considered that hate speech to ask how many genders are there.
Wow.
The funny thing though, Laura, like the funny thing is I never said my opinion. So all I was doing is almost like educational documentary type, getting Americans' opinions on
You
the
want to
street.
hear what people really thought of it. And by the way, I love that. I think that's very smart, of course.
Yeah. So they banned me on YouTube. It is what it is. I could have given up easily. I could have just, I was, honestly, I laid in bed for 2 weeks, like just debating stopping, but I can't stop fighting for the truth, right? And fighting for what's right. So then I just put the momentum into Instagram. I started working with an awesome team. They have the Instagram page @conservative. So they pretty much pushed me. I was working a sales job. They pushed me to quit that and just go full on with social media. My manager, his name's Jake. He's been helping me out tons, just crushing it. We've been, making new video ideas, traveling, been, staying with him in Atlanta. It's been awesome. So after I started working with them, I've gained like about 50,000 followers on Instagram in like 2 months. So now Instagram's ripping. And the main thing is just I can't push the line. And I know the line. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. We can't talk about
Wow.
it. Sucks. We can't. But if I bring it up, I'll get banned. So I just can't push it. But everything's still rolling with the Trump and Biden content. So I'll just stick with that. And I think that that's going to be super powerful as well, because I know Biden is working on a 2024 campaign. I don't know how that's
shocking,
Yeah.
but yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I have no idea how that's going to play out, and I don't know who the Democrat nominee will be. Probably won't be Biden. I mean, he's going to try, but can't even coherently speak. So I don't want to speak on that, but I do know, I want to say 99% that Trump will be our Republican nominee, and I'm very excited for that. And so, yeah, that's just what I want to do. I want to just fight the truth. And it's crazy because we were labeled as these far-right conspiracy theorists for the past 2 years. Like, I don't understand how they can just get away with lying to all these people. My mom calls me and she said, did you see that? Because she's independent, but she leans towards the Democrat side. So she calls me like 2 days ago and she's like, did you see that COVID leak from a lab in Wuhan? I said, Mom, I told you this. I told you this 2 years. Like I told you this 2 years ago. Like,
well, they say the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months.
Yeah,
right? Give it 6 months, and it generally pans out that all the things that we were saying were true, and everybody called us crazy conspiracy theorists for, actually work out. Whether it's the Russia collusion hoax, whether it's COVID, whether it's Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, my gosh, Shane, we could go on and on about it.
Go on and on. Don't even get me started on Hunter Biden. That's a
oh my God. Yeah, we'll do a whole nother installment of this with you about Hunter.
Yeah, I just find it crazy how ostracized Donald Trump Jr. is as a man, right? How ostracized he is. And Hunter Biden literally has videos of him naked with prostitutes doing cocaine in the middle of Russia. And no one bats an eye because he's the son of Joe Biden and he was dishonorably discharged from no one cares, but they will find any reason to smear Trump Jr. They find any reason to smear
my husband, Eric, me, any of us, anybody with our last name, Shane. I mean, that's, yeah.
Well, they find any reason to smear me. Anyone who supports Trump.
Of course.
It's completely outrageous. But it is what it is. I truly believe that you're only canceled if you believe you're canceled. That's why I respect Trump so much. I mean, with everything they threw his way in 2016, he's such a savage, though, because I remember watching the debate and they threw some crazy accusation at him, and then he brought out all of Bill Clinton's alleged abusers. I mean, Trump's such a savage. I love what he does. And that's why America loves him, because he's not a politician. And so many people realize that now, which is so amazing. That's the only reason I supported him, is because he came in from being a businessman, right? He was a billionaire. He had The Apprentice. He had all the property in New York. He did not need to do politics. Like, he had no need to do it, but he had been talking about it for 20 years and been wanting to do it. And so the perfect time came, and we actually had someone who came up and said, you are fake news, you are lying, you are wrong, we're going to build a wall, we're going to do this, we're going to work on the economy, we're going to run America like a business, which is how it should be ran.
Yeah.
And so he came in and did that. And the crazy thing, Laura, is so many politicians over the years have said this somewhat of the same thing, but then they get in and
they never do anything.
Exactly. They're bought up by the establishment.
Yeah.
It's funny because Trump tried his best and he still wasn't able to get all of it done, but he did as much as he could in 4 years, but there was still so much opposition, which is what's scary, is how much opposition there was on the Republican Party when the Republican Party is supposed to be fighting for us. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Well, let me say this. There were a lot of people who he surprised in 2016. There were people out there who were sure that Hillary Clinton was going to be our next president, and they never in a million years thought Donald Trump would actually win. And so he caught him a little off guard. Then he got into office. You're right. He delivered on all of his promises. He got so much done with all of the things, like you just said, he had against him, all of the constant attacks, the impeachments, the nonsense, all of it. Think about how much he actually did. Don't think for a second that they want to make that same mistake again. Don't think for a second that they are not doing anything and everything in their power, including weaponizing the justice system against him, which they have continued to do time after time, because they'll be damned if they let Donald Trump slip through the cracks again and sneak in and become president. Because I think they know if they were shocked with him the first time, wait till the second time in the Oval Office, because he is doing nothing but cleaning house and doing the things that need to be done for America. And that includes draining the swamp and getting rid of a lot of those establishment people. So just saying, they're not going to make it easy for him.
And something I want to add too is you're right when you say they did everything they could, because all right, let's put aside the evidence we saw of, stuffing ballots, ballot harvesting. Let's put all of that aside, right? What about the big tech collusion? What about the Twitter files? What about everything that came out with social media? Hunter Biden laptop, New York Post got deleted. Kayleigh McEnany got deleted on Twitter. Like, we aren't even talking about the aspect of the social media influence that censorship had that could have changed the outcome of the election.
Totally.
So there's that. And then there was, it's insane to me, there was the January 6th committee. They were sure they were going to lock up Trump on some crazy evidence of him conspiring to storm the Capitol. Nothing happened out of that, right? And then there was the Mar-a-Lago raid with his classified documents. And then Biden's out here saying, oh, yeah, anyone who has classified documents is a threat to our national security. 4 months later, Biden's found with 17 boxes of classified documents in his garage. Then there was Pete Buttigieg, who was in Ohio and said it's Trump's fault for his deregulation. Like, it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's why anyone with common sense and a brain realizes it, in my opinion. Like,
well, I gotta say, Shane, buckle up. We got a road ahead of us. It'll be an interesting ride. I feel like we need you like on the campaign, because I think you're so smart and you just have such a great feel for all of this. You really have the street vibe. Love it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're in Dubai right now. So when do we get to see your man on the street interviews from Dubai?
I'm going to post them when I'm back. So I'm leaving on Sunday. They should be rolling out next week.
Amazing. Well, we'll look forward to that, and give us just a quick hit of anything surprising in Dubai. Where are people supporting Trump or Biden more in Dubai? What do you think?
It's very Trump for sure. Very Trump, very anti-woke, anti-propaganda.
Yeah.
Traditional culture. The way it should be. Yeah.
We'll take that. All right. Well, where can people find you, Shane, on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and the China Talk, whatever you want to call it. So I'm on like my 8th account there. It's spelled ShaneyyRicch. So ShaneyyRicch with 2 Y's and 2 C's.
All right. Well, we'll keep up with everything you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I think it's so great. And we'll have you back. There's so much more we want to talk about. But thank you for joining us here today on The Right View. To everybody at home, if you like the show, make sure you like, subscribe, follow us. We want to keep this going. We want to make America great again with ShaneyyRicch, Shane Ginsburg, and of course, Donald Trump. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here next time for more.
I just want to say one more thing to everyone watching. If you are not on Truth Social, make sure you join Truth Social.
There we go.
I only follow Donald Trump on Truth Social, and I just select his name and look through what he's saying. He says some very, very entertaining stuff. So yeah, make sure you all download Truth Social. It's amazing.
He sure does.
You can find me on there too. I tweet all the time. I don't really use Twitter, to be honest. So I'm on Truth Social.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the best, Shane. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, and everybody will see you back for more.
Thanks, Laura.
At The Right View, we're very proud of the fact that we are independent. We get to say everything that we think and everything that we feel. We have no woke companies guiding us or telling us what we can and cannot say. We are always going to shoot you straight and give you the facts as we know them. And that's why it's important to support independent outlets like The Right View. My name is Lara Trump, and I think Mike Lindell is a patriot. He is someone who loves this country, is willing to fight for this country. I love MyPillow because not only are MyPillows made in the USA by American workers, but they're great products, and they're so great that not only do I use them in my own bed at night, my children actually requested. My daughter the other day went to the closet and pulled out a MyPillow and said, "This is the pillow that I want to sleep with." And I gotta tell you, she loves it and will have nothing to do with any other pillow. So it's a big hit around our house. My dogs also happen to sleep on MyPillow dog beds. So all around the Trump household, we're big fans. If you go to MyPillow.com today and use promo code Trump, again, promo code Trump, you will not only save money, but you will help us continue this show and other shows like it and help us continue the fight for the future of America. Inflation has impacted all of our lives. I don't think anyone can go to the gas pump or the grocery store without noticing that it is a major factor. And unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like it's going down in the way that we would like it to. And one way to protect your money is by investing in precious metals, gold and silver. That's always been a great way to make sure that you keep your money and you keep it safe. When you go to bh-pm.com, use promo code Trump. That way, if you decide you want to invest in gold and silver, you'll save yourself a little bit of money. We live in a time that's very interesting. A lot of us out there feel like a lot of our rights are slipping away. And if you're like I am and you want to have the right to choose whether or not to have a vaccine, how to live your life freely, and you're looking for a great doctor, I've heard amazing things about Dr. Sherwood. He's somebody who you should really check out and check into, and it'll help support this program and keep us going. So go to Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. Again, Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. You can save yourself some money and help us keep our program going.
Psst, ladies and gentlemen, this just in. We'll keep this a little secret between you and me and them and everybody. Whoa. The people that are actually at the tip of the spear, working directly with President Trump on a day-to-day basis to save this nation, they're all joining us on the Reawaken America tour. We have President Donald J. Trump's Chief of Staff, Kash Patel. We've got Peter Navarro's joined us on the tour. We have General Michael Flynn. We have Eric Trump. The people actually working at the tip of the spear with President Donald J. Trump to save America are joining us on the Reawaken America tour. Whoa. If word of this gets out, if the truth about election fraud, medical fraud, religious fraud, monetary fraud, and mainstream media gets out, it may just save the nation.
The Reawaken tour is coming to our place, hallelujah. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. Wide slam open.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, on May 12th and 13th, the Reawaken America Tour is coming to Miami, Florida, and to the beautiful Trump Doral Resort and Golf Course. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Reawaken America Tour is coming to Miami, Florida on May 12th and 13th. Get your sunscreen ready because General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Amanda Grace, Julie Green, Pastor Dave Scarlett, Dr. Judy Mikovits, Kash Patel, and Team America are taking the Reawaken America Tour to Trump Doral on May 12th and 13th. And then we're taking the God-fearing, revival-starting Reawaken America Tour into Sin City. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking the God-fearing Reawaken America Tour to Las Vegas, Nevada on August 25th and 26th. General Flynn and Team America will be taking the Reawaken America Tour to Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Patriots will be staying together at Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas, located at 2000 Fashion Show Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, with zip code 89109 if you want to send them a letter. And yes, Alex Jones will be live and in person at the Reawaken America Tour, Las Vegas, Nevada. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, put it on your calendar. Get those tickets right now. August 25th and 26th. Eric Trump, Dr. P. Peter McCullough, Mel K, Dr. Stella Emanuel, Owen Schroyer, Alex Jones, Seth Holhouse, Pastor Mark Burns, Pastor Leon Benjamin. We're all taking the Reawaken America tour to Las Vegas, Nevada, ladies and gentlemen. Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's going to be August 25th and 26th. Thus far on the Reawaken America tour, we've featured Dr. Dave Martin, the late great Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, Charlie Kirk, Donna Clement Petruska, Sean Foyt, Karen Kingston, Chad Prather, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Dr. Alan Keyes, Mickey Willis, Roger Stone, Dr. Richard Bartlett, and hundreds of patriotic speakers that you know, including Del Bigtree, Thomas Renz, Sidney Powell, Jim Caviezel, Donald J. Trump Jr., Peter Navarro, Klaus Schwab, Yuval Noah Harari, Bill Gates, and the godless globalists have their annual meeting called the World Economic Forum at Davos. But we that reject the Great Reset have the Reawaken America tour coming to Miami, Florida, and coming to Las Vegas, Nevada. Get those tickets at time2freeamerica.com. That's time2freeamerica.com. We have scholarship pricing to make these events affordable for everybody. Every Reawaken America tour event has sold out, so request those tickets today at time2freeamerica.com. That's time2freeamerica.com. Or for faster service, you can send me a personal text to 918-851-0102. That's 918-851-0102. And to be bilingually sensitive, that's 918-851-0102.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
We will shut you down. We will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period.
I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
God actually spoke to me. He spoke about sacredness. He said to me, Kim, what I place in many, many people is sacred. And if anybody touches what is sacred to me, then it is the end for them. So what I've done in the United States of America is sacred. And there are people on every side that are trying to destroy what I deem sacred. And it's not going to happen.
This is the definition of criminal conspiracy, racketeering, and collusion. This is not a theory, this is evidence.
Because I have upheld this country to spread a light to the rest of the world. When you choose to go against the sacred thing that God puts into the very heart and the soil of this nation. This was sacred to God. Now is the time to act. This is exactly why I need some action from my people. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you.